What's up, guys? Welcome into the Dog Central live show. I am Graham Coffee, as always. Tonight, we are going to do things a little bit differently than usual. I'm going to be riding solo. B, we are going to have a UT Martin film review, but because this game was aired on streaming, high quality video files are hard to come by. At some point this season, Josh and I will do our normal thing, but this week I'm going to do this kind of a jerry-rigged way and bring you some clips on this television here that you see behind me. Before we start, we are presented by Home Field Apparel. I only wear things that I like to wear. I'm wearing Home Field because I like to wear their stuff. It's soft, it's cozy. They have the best vintage UGA apparel that you are going to find anywhere. And they have the best vintage collegiate apparel for other schools as well. So maybe you're a Georgia fan who won a bunch of money betting on Colorado this weekend and you want to cop yourself a nice new Buff shirt to get on the Dion hype train. You can still use our code DAWGCentral23, DAWGS Central 23 for 20% off your first order. So now that we have paid our bills, we'll get into it. Interesting game, honestly. There were things that were good, there were things that were bad. If you haven't read my 12 takeaways piece on Dog Central yet, definitely check that out because I kind of got into some of the nitty gritty of just game plan and play design and the way that Georgia really actually kind of approaches some of these out of conference matchups. And it is more about them getting better than it is about them winning and putting up a bunch of points. And Kirby Smart said that himself. That he used to focus on trying to blow teams like this out. Now he feels like the team that's going to be standing at the end of the season is the one that gets better. So Georgia quite literally uses these games as practice. I've said all offseason, Georgia has a 2-game preseason schedule before they start their real football season against South Carolina in week 3 between the hedges. And I think they're using it that way. We've got some offensive clips. We've got some defensive clips. We're going to go chronologically in order through the game, looking at both sides of the ball. But, yeah, I won't waste any more of your time yapping. Let's get into it. Let's just switch cameras here real quick. All right, so we're going to start here with the first series of the game for UT Martin. And this is going to be a play that I think Georgia would like to have back. Chaz Chambliss, I think a guy that a lot of people are pulling for, has played a lot of football for Georgia, has been in the program for a long time, and this looks like his final year. You see him lined up on the edge position, top of the screen at the edge spot, number 32. He's going to come off the left side of the line here, and he's just going to suck down. He's going to get too far inside too quick, and he goes and takes on that pulling guard when really his job on this play is to keep contained, whether that be on a handoff or if the quarterback were to keep this, or, maybe in a scenario where this is a pass. But no matter what you want to call it, he gets too far inside here and just gives up the outside, gives up the edge. And this was kind of a theme for Georgia throughout the game, giving up the edge, but you see it here. Not a good play from UGA, kind of poor discipline on the edge. And this is something that Kirby Smart's not going to like. This is something Georgia preaches a lot. It's something that Nolan Smith was really, really good at, and Georgia's going to have to find a way to kind of replace that production. Here, another run play that I think Georgia's going to be upset with, and just you see it right there, big hole. This is a 3rd and 15, so, I shouldn't say that they're going to be upset with this because in reality, I think, they're in a safe defense. They only got one inside linebacker on the field. They're playing dime. They've got 6 defensive backs in, and this is kind of more of their pass rush package in terms of guys at the line of scrimmage. You got Jalen Walker there at the bottom. But still, 2 big of a hole on the inside. It's good play design because the motion man sucks the only inside linebacker basically out of the box. You see, I think that's Dumas Johnson. Yeah, Dumas Johnson follows him out. But those defensive tackles, which you got Michael Williams playing DT here, they just get kind of up into each other's gaps. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a stunt. It looks like one of them stunts, and that would be the bottom DT, the right DT, and then it looks like Michael maybe doesn't come fully in on his stunt, or he just kind of gets engaged too early in the play. Michael Williams played a lot of football for Georgia. Like, we know he understands this defense. He two-gapped his butt off against Tennessee last year, so not something I'd be super concerned about in the long run, but still, I think that was one of the themes of the game, is kind of both lines of scrimmage making some mental mistakes. I thought the defense, they had good moments and bad moments, truthfully, in terms of how they kind of played these edges, but that was one that they'd like to have back. So here we're going to go. Oh, this was actually the very first play of the game. I did want to give kudos here to Tyke Smith, because he plays this about as well as you can play this. This was something that Georgia did really well in this game across the board with screens. You see Tyke here. He's got his helmet's basically right over the little UT Martin logo on the score bug there. But he, every time there was a screen, got upfield and really blew it up, did a really good job with his leverage. I thought the DB play in this game for Georgia was very, very good. There was a couple little minor things when some of the younger guys were in, but to be expected. The starters played really, really well. You've got Javon Bullard there. He just does a really good job of taking advantage of being the unblocked man. Thought he played a really nice game on Saturday. You could see him flying around. And then Tyke gets inside of his guy, makes the tackle, tracks it down. So nice play there from Georgia. This is another 1st and 10 from UT Martin. And here's Tyke again. Just, doesn't make the play, but he kind of makes the play in the sense that he blows this up in the backfield. And, he actually does end up getting in on the tackle here at the end of the play. But really, really nice job from him. We'll start this over. He's the nickel corner, so he almost, if you look at the inside linebackers, he's the guy that's just standing right above them on the screen, and he just reads this really, really well. His guy comes in motion, and so now he basically, in this formation, he's allowed to come down and kind of play tight up at the line of scrimmage because he doesn't have a man in coverage on his side anymore, and he takes on the linebacker there, or I'm sorry, the tackle there for a second, and then gets off the block. Does a really nice job. Good play by him. I thought he played a really good game. He was a guy that stood out. You can really tell a difference in him now that he's healthy. It's hard not to be happy for him after a couple of years of sort of bad injury luck. When he was an All-American at West Virginia before he transferred, I think he looks like the player right now. He looked like the player on Saturday that Georgia, I think a lot of Georgia fans thought they were going to see when he first came into the program. So here, first play for Georgia on offense, and look, this was something I talked about a lot last season. This is something I harp on a lot, that one of the things that makes Georgia different, so to speak, than 95% or 99% of all the other teams in college football is their ability to block on the perimeter, and they do a pretty horrendous job here. There's no cleaning it up. It's Bowers and Delp. They're both lined up to the top of the formation. The two inside receivers, both stand up in this situation, but it's 5 wide, and so Georgia's got the defense spread out, and this is just a scenario, honestly, where the job of those 3 receivers up top, and 2 of them are tight ends, Delp and Bowers, is to just block the man in front of them. If they can do that, then in most cases, if everything gets off clean and smoothly, then the ball carrier should have a one-on-one matchup. He should have an opportunity where if he makes one person miss, then he can either score or he can create a very big play. Not going to get that opportunity here. You see, there seems to be a little bit of confusion maybe. I think it's Delp here on the bottom. Yeah, it's Delp on the bottom. He kind of goes in between, and at the last minute, he decides to block number 11. Bowers, is basically just out leveraged on that play. He's too far outside to make that play at that point, and it's tackle for loss. Not a good way to really start the game for Georgia, but is what it is, right? That's what week 1 is for. Coaches always say the biggest improvement you see is between week 1 and week 2. And I thought you saw a lot of improvement, honestly, as this game went on. But Georgia didn't really come out focused and super intense. So take that for what you will. So here's 3rd and 8. And this is going to be a throw to Arian Smith at the top. You see, he's the wide receiver at the top. He's in tight coverage. And he's going to want a flag on this play. Beck, I think he throws a good ball. Arian just, he doesn't get a flag, which means he probably should have. I mean, he's being grabbed right here, but he's not being taken down. It's borderline. I thought there were some calls that they made, pass interference the other way, that if they were going to make that against Georgia, they should have made them against UT Martin. But Arian's just got to do a better job of fighting through the ball here, honestly. And this just comes back to the fact that he's an older guy and he's been in the program a long time, but he hasn't played a lot of football. And, when we've seen him, a lot of times it's been, they want him to go deep. You've seen him run a lot of deep routes, but for him to become a complete receiver, he's got to be able to make these types of plays where he's playing in close and he's playing tight. Dealing with tight coverage, dealing with guys having their hands on him, and also just if he can do that, if he can get off those types of defenders, if he can get around on those types of routes, if he can be dangerous on slants and some of those stop routes and comeback routes, that's going to force people to guard him closer, which is going to give him even more of an opportunity to use his speed to get deep and beat people downfield. So that's something to monitor throughout the season, is if he is able to kind of create that. This is a good play. This was one. You got Tyron Ingram-Dawkins here. He's lined up at defensive end down at the bottom of the screen, and he's going to do a really nice job, 93, of doing what we call setting the edge. It's not perfect. He kind of gets on his heels there for a second, but he doesn't dip inside too hard. And he keeps his right shoulder. He keeps his outside shoulder outside of that offensive tackle. And so you see the running back here. I'm going to play this in full speed for you guys. You see the running back. He's kind of conflicted on what to do. And that's the point, right? It's to basically make that running back feel like there's not a clean gap anywhere. And there's not. He's still going to get some yardage out of it, but it's a good job by Ingram-Dawkins. It's more what we want to see. That play gets strung out. That hesitation from the running back gives Starks time to come in and make a tackle for no gain. That's well done, and I think that's something. He's a guy I'm watching. Ingram-Dawkins has got all the potential in the world, and if he puts it all together for Georgia this year, then he's one that can play at the DN spot and rush the passer, and he can also jump inside and certain fronts and play D tackle. So, if he's going to set the edge like that, then I think you're going to see a lot more of him as the year goes on. But it's also worth remembering that he did have some nagging injuries in camp. So, not sure what his conditioning is like right now, if he's quite ready to play, 40 snaps in a game. But if you're a Georgia fan, I think you should hope that he is by the time you get to October, November, and more difficult opponents. This is going to be another good job on a screen. You got Smith and I believe Lassiter up here at the top, and Bullard's going to come in and make the tackle, but the leverage in terms of taking on the blocks is really nice here. I believe this is Kamari that's up near the line, and he's going to face this blocker, and he's going to keep himself. You see how he's outside of that blocker? So that receiver, he knows I can't go to the boundary, basically, and it's turning this play back inside to the help. There's more red shirts on the inside of the field than outside the numbers, and good technique, good fundamentals. That's a 3rd and 3 stop where you get off the field. It's a nice football play. That's what you want to see. So good job by Georgia on that one. Good job by Lassiter in particular creating that play. And that's what we try to do on this show. If you're new, this show is going to be posted for free on YouTube. And, we'll post some of them periodically throughout the season. But a lot of these are going to be subscriber only on Dog Central. So come check us out, because it's not just about who made the play, but it's kind of the, who allowed the person that made the tackle to make that tackle, or, who made the block that allowed the touchdown to be scored. And also just we're here, or I'm here to help you understand Georgia's system and how it works, and the intricate details between these guys being good football players and great football players, and, bad execution and good execution. Sometimes that's a fine line, so we're here to try and draw that for you. This is going to be a run play. It's not the offensive line really struggled for Georgia in this game, and so I think the question is why, right? And we're going to look at this. Let's count UT Martin defenders. So Georgia's got one. They've got 7 guys up at the line of scrimmage for UGA. They got 7 blockers up here, and UT Martin has 7 of their own within, 2.5 yards of the football, maybe 3. So it's 7 on 7, and the left side of the line does a pretty nice job. This run's coming right, but you've got Mims down here, and I'm trying to see, is this Mims that makes the kind of gets. Mims does a pretty good job. It's really not bad blocking. It's just, you got Ernest Green over here on the left side. Okay. Sorry, I thought this was a different play. Ernest Green is left tackle. He's the last red helmet that's truly up on the line, and then he's got, I believe that's Bowers right behind him in kind of a sniffer H-back type of spot there, lined up literally like flexed behind him. But Green is going to miss his block at left tackle, which is not a shock. He's a first-time starter. He's playing in his first ever college football game. He's going to be a really, really good football player. There's no doubt about it. But he's going to miss here, and that's going to allow this whole play to, other 6 guys are going to do a pretty good job blocking, but because he allows, you see his head's down here, 71, and you can't block what you can't see. You can't hit what you can't see. And it's just he lunges forward. He gets kind of out over his skis, so to speak, and it's going to allow that guy to come free around. Otherwise, it's a play that's blocked pretty nice. You see Bowers, he's kind of hopping up and down there like he felt like that was close to being something. Because, if he gets out here and starts blocking at the second level, then maybe this turns into a good play for him. But all right, let's move forward. This is going to be just diving catch by Lovett. Not a ton of analysis to give here, to be honest with you guys. It's just a good play. You could maybe ding Beck a quarter of a point for throwing it a little outside, but I went back and watched this in slow-mo, which I'll let you do right here. You definitely, just looking where that defender was, you don't want that ball inside. I think if you put it inside, you got a chance of him jumping inside on it. So kind of a good decision by Carson on 3rd and 5 there, and a really, really good catch by Lovett. there was some moments of miscommunication between those two, but you could tell Lovett's going to be a good one and an important part of this offense this season. And then a couple plays later here, you got a 2nd and 10, and this is where Brock Bowers is, still Brock Bowers, basically. He's going to get out and do Brock Bowers things. Might be the best pure football player in the country. Like, the Heisman Trophy never goes to the best football player in the country. It goes to the quarterback with the best stats on a winning team or, on a playoff contender or someone that's got really good stats on a contender. But Brock Bowers is a dude, man. He's a stud. And I didn't think you'd see that much of him in this game, but I think because Georgia kind of struggled in the early going, he got involved. And look, Carson Beck did the right thing. Like, when in doubt, when things are maybe sputtering a little bit, give it to number 19, and that's what he did. This I thought was this is a good throw by Beck here. 3rd and 7, you got Dylan Bell at the top. He's the X receiver on this play, and he's just going to turn around, and they both read the same thing. They see the same thing. It's a good delivery. It's good timing. I think it's good to see those two on the same page. Dylan Bell is a guy to watch this year. He's had a really, really strong offseason and is probably primed for some big things. So here you got a 3rd and 9 for Georgia, and this is going to be what they call kind of their NASCAR package of pass rushers. You got Walker on the bottom here. You've got Jordan Hall in at 1D tackle spot. I believe you've got Mikel Williams in and up above him as kind of the D end, and I think maybe Brinson is in on this play as well. Let's see if that's Brinson. No, Mikel's at D tackle. I apologize. Darius Smith was up at D end, number 19, and that's him right there, jumping up and down. But look, I've said this a lot all offseason. I think Georgia's got more pure pass rushers on the roster for 2023 than they've had in a long time, and their defensive system really isn't about taking risks to create sacks. It's about plugging gaps and collapsing pockets and playing kind of team defense. But they're going to have a lot of sacks this year. I think a lot by Georgia standards, just because there's some straight up studs on this team and in the pass rush positions. And Jordan Hall, number 44, I thought he flashed a lot. He's a true freshman, former kind of 5-star level defensive tackle. If he's already in that package, then that says quite a bit about what his future probably looks like and what they think his potential is to play here early this season. You're be advised, I had to pull some of these clips from different places. These next few are going to be low quality, so bear with me. You'll still get the point here. 1st and 10 for Georgia, and I thought this was probably the only decision from Beck that I didn't like today. Or I'm sorry, not today, but on Saturday. It's not bad that he's throwing a ball to the boundary. He's got the arm for it. It's fine that he's doing that. You want him to be comfortable doing that. But what I don't like here is there's a little bit of kind of a hesitation, if you want to call it that, or that's a ball that's got to go now. Like, it's got to go not a second after he sees the guy open. He's got to throw his receiver open. And you see right here the wide receiver there on the bottom right of your screen who's being cut in half by the score bug. He's open right now. So that ball, needs to be there now. And it's in the air, and it could be an interception against a better corner or, a more athletic corner, a different team. That could be a pick six the other way. So I didn't like that decision, and that's a route that if Mike Bobo is going to call that route, then Beck needs to be better just about getting that ball out. And C.J. Smith was in the game, young wide receiver playing in his first game, so maybe that's part of it. But Beck's got to know if I'm going to throw that ball, then I gotta throw it, basically as he's hitting his break, not as he's coming out of his break. So this is the very next play, 2nd and 10, and I thought this was just a nice run. I was impressed with Roderick Robinson, especially of the young backs. Like, I think, I thought we'd see more of Andrew Paul. We didn't, but Robinson's got a little more wiggle and vision than I expected him to. So I think that's a guy that has a little more potential, honestly, than maybe we thought. Not that he wasn't a heralded recruit. This play you probably remember if you watched the game. It's a 3rd and 3. This is a wide open. I mean, Lovett's in behind the defense here. You see this DB that's following Bowers in double coverage here. He's got his back turned, so if Lovett catches this, he's going for a while. Lovett reads slant. Beck, I guess, wants him to sit down. Maybe he's reading, kind of reading zone. I'm not sure. Obviously, it's a miscommunication. I don't know who it's on. Doesn't really matter. It's just they got to figure it out. But those are the type of plays like you just in week 1 against UT Martin, whatever, fine. It's not going to hurt you. But down the road, on the road in the SEC, those are the type of plays that can change the momentum of a game or give a team some belief against a 2-time defending national champion. Here we got a 1st and 10. Georgia's got 5 up at the line of scrimmage that they're going to rush. And I thought this was a nice rush from Zion Logue. He's a guy he's been in the program a long time. He's really, really long, very much a leader on the team, very much a do everything right type of player. And he's lined up as the right defensive tackle, standing right there on the hash mark. And he is going to be on kind of a delayed rush, but he does a really good job, I felt, of filling this gap coming upfield, forces this ball out quick, and could have maybe been an interception. So good job by him. This was a run play that I think Georgia would like to have back. You got Logue in the game at 1 D tackle spot, and then to his left, you're going to have Jonathan Jefferson. You see, the play's already started right here. The ball's about to get handed off. So you see Logue, he's got his shoulders square. He's doing a good job of being gap sound, being gap responsible. Problem is that you see Jefferson, right now his face mask is turning towards you. And if you're watching football at home, honestly, if you see a guy that's sideways in the hole as a defensive lineman, then it probably means he's gotten beat, especially on a run play like this. So, because of that, you get this hole up the middle, and you don't see guys fall forward for first downs against Georgia often. And that's something that they're not going to be happy with. Georgia takes pride in being the team that moves the pile, not the team that gets the pile moved on them. This is going to be an edge set error. And this is Ingram Dawkins. So, I gave him kudos earlier, but this is one that he doesn't do well. He's just gonna bite down way too hard on this zone read, and you can't do that. You gotta be better with your eyes. You gotta step out and force that handoff, and then you gotta trust that your D tackles and your linebackers are gonna be your help. And I kind of saw on Saturday, I think. I don't necessarily want to say that the guys were playing selfishly. I think that guys, though, were playing I think they were playing in a way maybe like that didn't show proper trust in teammates at times. What's made Georgia so dominant on defense the last couple of years is that their guys aren't chasing stats, and I'm not saying these guys were chasing stats, but they were chasing tackles, and they were a little over-eager to make plays at times, and I think that they got to settle that down and get back into the mentality of do my job and trust that everyone around me is going to do their job. And they've got the talent to do that. They've got the coaches that will make sure they do that. It's not something to be worried about in the long haul, but for week one, it's not surprising, but I can promise you Georgia's coaches weren't happy with some of this tape, and Georgia's players, I'm sure, weren't either. This is going to be just, again, another great job. I mean, this is textbook from Tyke Smith. He's just going to come. He's going to read this so quick. You see his eyes in the backfield. This is him right here, and he's just going to blow that up. You can't do it any better. Beats his blocker to the spot and blows past him. Great play by him. So this is a run play that's going to blow up on Georgia. Look, I mean, this is, to be fair to Georgia, they were playing against a lot of bare fronts, a lot of really heavy boxes. But you go back and watch this tape, and, Ernest Green, 71, left tackle. I wouldn't say he had like a rough day necessarily, but he looked like a guy starting his first game. Again, I think that'll kind of work itself out naturally over time. But Xavier Truss had a rough day. He did. And you see him here, right here in this play. He's kind of moving to the second level, and he just, doesn't. Whatever his assignment is supposed to be on this, I think he reads it wrong. But he's your left guard, and he's up here. Oh no, he's fine. I'm sorry. It's your right side that's getting blown up. I think that might have been Mims, actually, the right tackle. Yeah, you got Mims here at right tackle, 65, and he's just gonna miss entirely. I mean, not that anyone else really got real movement either, but yeah, I mean, some of these runs, there's so many bodies in that it's hard to tell. One thing I would say about Georgia's run game on Saturday is they only ran, I think, 6 gap scheme plays the entire time, which, like, with the athleticism and size of this line, that should be the strength of all of it. So, Mike Bobo likes to run gap scheme. Georgia's been a 50-50 gap zone team the last couple of years. I would be surprised if they change that too much. So, anyways, I think you'll see more gap scheme in coming weeks, but they've struggled a little bit in zone at times on and off the last couple of years. So, I think they wanted to challenge the offensive line to move these guys in zone, and to be frank, they didn't do it enough. Here is one of the few gap scheme plays of the game, though, and this is going to be really gorgeous. So you see these, you got 4 guys moving downfield. You got C.J. Smith. He does, he's going to come down from his receiver position. You got a bunch set here of Muse, Delp, and C.J. Smith, and I mean, they do a beautiful job, right? Like, you've got Delp out here. This is perfect. You got Ernest Green over here. This is really, really beautiful team blocking, team line play. You got C.J. Smith up here at the top of the screen. He's got the seal block. He's come all the way across the formation, and he is cleaning this dude up. It's really, really nice. Good 3rd and 2 play. And this is what the strength of Georgia's run game and offensive line, I think, should be with the personnel they have. Again, this was one of the few gap scheme runs that they had on Saturday. But I would expect you'll see more as we move into the season. And, I mean, to be fair, with the big, heavy boxes they were facing, wasn't really always – possible for them, I should say. Maybe not possible, but, I don't know that running gap scheme necessarily was the right thing to do more often, or that even it's necessary to put some of those runs on tape yet. I mean, I shouldn't say that. They have the same runs as everybody, but it seems like the last couple of years, especially in 2022, when Georgia plays a weaker opponent, they're a little more zone heavy. It's like they use those games to work on that. And those assignments are hard for linemen to figure out in real time. And so there's not really a great way to simulate it in practice. This run here from Milton, I thought he had an admirable performance on Saturday, especially because he wasn't fully healthy and kind of came and gutted one out for his team. But I think if he bounces this out to the right towards the top of the screen, he could have had some more yards here. This is well blocked by Delp on the right, and I think Milton, if he bounces it outside, maybe he can get a first down. Not a huge error, but and I do think when guys are injured, they do tend to kind of maybe not bounce quite as often. They usually sort of, I think, are a little more downhill for obvious reasons. 3rd and 5 here, and really nice run. Oh, no, this is a terrible run. I'm sorry. I thought this was a different play. Yeah, this whole thing just it's not a good, it's just not a good play. You see Green, he's getting some on his guy. Delp is getting some, but Arian Smith is he's not gonna get a block here. And let's see who else misses. Somebody on the inside. Yeah, you got Truss. Him and Delp are on the same guy. Another thing I'll say is normally if you see a guy, an offensive lineman, yeah, that's Truss coming from the guard spot, from the left guard spot. He just doesn't pick up his own man. Yeah. I mean, you got 2 missed blocks there, so not a good play. This kind of a good play design, right? Malachi Starks was all over the field early in this game, making tons of plays against the run, all just blowing up stuff and running sideline to sideline. So they're going to basically take this motion man to run him out of the play, and quarterback's got a shot here, and you've just got another situation of a little bit too far upfield and not being disciplined on the edge. Jalen Walker just gets too far inside too early. He has the right idea, and this is a really well carried out fake. Like, it looks like that running back has the ball, and that quarterback just pulls it at the last minute right there, and you see he's already hopped inside to his right, and he just can't get back out. And now he's got a receiver to deal with as well that can block him. So it's just the little things, but they'll become big things down the road. All right, nice run here by Milton. Really nice run. Good blocking off the left side by everybody. Green, Van Pran. Truss actually kind of misses his block, but he gets up to the second level and stumbles into a linebacker. And then Milton makes a guy miss, right? That's what running backs do. Nice job by him. Good play. Good plus chunk run. And then, so this is just more Brock Bowers porn for you. Just simple little concept out in the flat. But look at that block by Dylan Bell. If Dylan Bell's not blocking his butt off, then Bowers is going to face two guys, and he's not going to make this incredible play. Bell is just working 86 right there on the first down marker, and that's what Georgia football is supposed to be, right? Like, those are the plays that matter and make a difference. And the reality is that this roster is so deep on blue chips and so deep on talent and so deep on guys that have the talent to play that everyone should be blocking like that and making plays like that all the time, because there's enough players to rotate in and stay fresh. So here you've got run play again, just not well blocked. And I mean, it's kind of a team effort, honestly. Mims doesn't get anybody, Truss doesn't get anybody, and if you got two offensive linemen that are standing up, turning around and looking at the running back get tackled, then you normally know why the running back's getting tackled. And look, man, I'm not trying to dog on these guys. Look, it's hard to play offensive line. It's hard as hell. I don't care who you're playing. If it's UT Martin or the Tennessee Titans, it doesn't matter. And I will say that what UT Martin did in this game was sacrifice everything they could to take the run away. And Georgia and Mike Bobo and Kirby Smart, in their infinite wisdom, decided to make their offensive line block it anyways instead of – I think if Georgia had wanted to pass, if Georgia wanted Carson Beck to pass for 480 in this game, that might have could happen, honestly. Like, if they had just decided to play action them to death and run some deeper concepts, they could have, but they did not. This is 3rd and goal. You're going to see Beck make, I think, a really good, savvy decision here. He's going to run into the end zone for the touchdown. Yeah, nice play by him. I thought Carson made really, really good decisions on Saturday. This isn't that sexy of a play. It's not going to end up on too many highlight reels later on in the year. He does juke a guy, out there in the open field. But you can see, if you watch his receivers, there's not anybody open. And he doesn't panic. He doesn't decide to drift out. He identifies a running lane, takes it, slips in for a touchdown. 3rd and 7, and this is, I think they do get a first down, actually, but again, just too many runs off the edge. You got, I believe that might be Marvin Jones up there. No, I think that's actually Mondin. Either way. Yeah, that's Mondin. It just gets too far inside. Okay, good delivery here by Beck. Good job of sitting down by Bowers. Look, Bowers obviously is almost always going to do the right thing, but good job of Carson trusting his receiver, trusting him to sit down, knowing where he's supposed to sit down, and he's throwing that into a window in his zone, right? Like, there's a linebacker there. There's ways for that play to go wrong, and it doesn't. It's a good on-time delivery by Beck, and it's the right decision. Does a good job with his eyes. Here, another look, not a super sexy play. Okay, I get it. You guys probably didn't come here for Cash Jones checkdowns, but I want you to watch Beck's head throughout this play. Okay, pre-snap, he's scanning. and then he's going to get the ball, and he's going to go through his progressions. He's going to go left, right, and then he's gonna check it down. Like he's making good decisions. He's not staring down receivers, and he's going through the motions, not the motions. He's going through the process. Um, I thought this was probably his best throw of the day. This is on the 2 minute drill before halftime, and it's just a really nice ball to love it. Nice seeing those two trust each other already. Seeing Beck trust him and feel like he knows what he's going to do. And he puts it in a really nice spot. All right, so here is the play before halftime on Monday. Kirby Smart said that this was a coach mistake. Basically, they thought they were closer to the goal line than they actually were, which I do understand. Maybe misunderstanding where an official was because you're rushing to the ball, so you're basically making this call before the team is lined up at the ball. But still, it's the first game for everybody, right? Like this is a bad error. It's a bad play call, and Green has got to block that guy off the edge. I mean, Cash Jones gets blown up. He's not the only one though. I mean, entire, not the entire, but a lot of the offensive line just has miscues here. So, not a good play. And then you're going to follow this up with a miss in the back of the end zone to Arian. And, I don't know if that's on Arian or Carson. I do understand why Beck is wanting him to basically, not curl behind that law. I don't know if it's a linebacker or a DB, but you see the guy that's standing next to the ref off the ref's right shoulder there. It doesn't make sense for Arian to go behind him. But yeah, I don't know, just a weird play. It could have been 6. And I think that's a spot where Beck honestly just needs to take a half beat longer. I know that he's got rushers coming, but I think just a quarter of a second longer to see where Arian's going to sit down. But those are things they'll have to work on in practice, and the receivers and quarterback got to get on the same page because this is still, a read-based offense, and they got to see the same thing. 3rd and 4 here, and didn't love this play call on the swing, but part of the problem is just how this is blocked. I don't know if Bowers should have turned inside to block number 5, or if that's Ratledge's job, or if Mims is supposed to be getting out there. But one way or another, there's an unblocked man. And then, the reality also is that Jones does a decent job of breaking that one tackle, but Ratledge is not engaged with anybody really at that point. He doesn't block number 11 for some reason. I don't know if it's because he thinks Cash is going to get tackled, but if he blocks number 11, Jones still has a chance of getting that first down. He can bust it outside, and Bowers has his guy blocked. So poor execution. Okay, here you got a 3rd and 1. And I thought this was called PI, but we didn't really see any of the guys competing for the second DB spot thrown at much. I mean, Humphrey was on the field a lot. Everett was on the field a few snaps more. A.J. Harris played a good bit. I think Nyland Green was in the game some. And this was the only time Everett or Humphrey really got tested. And I think if he doesn't – what that official down there on the bottom right of your screen is looking at is that arm, Everett's left arm going around that guy's back, which he doesn't need to do because he's in good position. But still, he's not using that arm to pull him down or anything like that. I thought that was well played by Dalen Everett and probably not deserving of a flag. And then just an unlucky bounce there, but this is almost an interception for the linebacker here for Dumas Johnson. That's close to a pick six, but he's doing a good job in coverage there. And then we have another spot, one of the few other boundary throws that we saw in this game. You get to see Everett again, and he looks good. He's got his head around. He knows the ball's coming. Pretty sticky play. And then CJ Smith, man, talk about a coming out party for him. Really nice game from him. This is another one of these kind of tunnel screen type plays, and this is really well blocked. Muse in the slot. He played 13 snaps on Saturday night, but sure made the most of them. And he's going to block his guy well. Bowers going to do a good job coming out, and CJ Smith, runs a guy over. So well played there. And then this was I thought, one of Carson's better throws. He's comfortable on the move, and I think that's something that Georgia's staff might want to remember. He might be one of these guys where if things aren't going really well, it's maybe better to let him get out of the pocket a little bit and cut the field in half and give him some of those kind of half field reads. And then this is the touchdown to Muse, and just really beautiful job by Bowers on his block. Good job by Ernest Green coming out here as well. And I believe that's Van Pran getting some. Yep. Van Pran and Green kind of double team here. Muse is going to make a guy miss. Ratledge way downfield helping Arian Smith, and that's all she wrote. Really, really good team play. And that's what this offensive line can do. Like the athleticism of this offensive line, I think that's when they're at their best, is getting them down to the second level, letting them be big and fast at the same time, which they are. I think we'll see more of that as the playbook opens up and the season goes along. Here, good play by Smile Mondin. Just, he wasn't really 100% healthy in this game, didn't play a ton of snaps, but this is why he's one of those rare guys. Super long, super fast. He strings that play out and turns that into a minimal gain when could have easily been more. So, good job by him. And this is, another really solid play by CJ Smith. He's going to come all the way kind of across the formation. He's in the bunch set over here at the top of the formation and just comes clean and good pass protection. I've given the offensive line some grief in this, but they pass protected really, really well on Saturday night. I think that Georgia as a team had maybe 35 or 36 total dropbacks and only one pressure allowed. That's good stuff. I mean, they're very good in pass protection. Georgia's not a team, they want the physical line of scrimmage run game to be a big part of their identity, but if they can run block anything like they pass block, then they'll be dominant. And then here, I thought this was a pretty important moment for Carson Beck. Okay, just because young quarterback. I mean, not I know Beck's old, but he's a young quarterback in terms of plays. Played in actual football games in front of all the people under the lights, and Oscar Delp, this is something that Georgia's run for a long time. They ran it a lot last year with Darnell Washington, but Delp's just going to creep out in the flat here, and Beck has the opportunity to take those easy yards and flip it out to him, and he is comfortable and confident enough in his arm, and most importantly, has enough vision to see Mekhi Muse there at the second level. Um, that's that's a good sign. That's a good sign for his maturation. That's a good sign for his handle on the offense, his confidence, his control. The fact that he's passing up good throws and good decisions for great decisions. I think that's something to be excited about for him in the long run. So keep an eye on that. Just those are the little things that I'm looking for from him, and I thought that was a good sign of maybe things to come. Nice run play here from Georgia. Van Pran up there at the second level. Maybe if he's able to hold on to his block a little bit longer, or if he's able to get to that linebacker, this is probably 6. But entire right side plus Delp is doing a really nice job here, and then Green does a good job with his block. And you don't have Truss in the game here. I believe that's oh my gosh, we're gonna find out on the next play. I'll tell you, but 56. But that was interesting to me that all of a sudden Truss struggled all night, and all of a sudden 56 is in at left guard. I think that is something to. I don't know if it's something to watch. I mean, Truss has played a lot of football for Georgia, and he's played a lot of good football for Georgia, but I do think that was kind of interesting. And then here, 56 again opens this hole for the touchdown. You're going to see him right here fire off in your face and just turn 44 out of that hole. That's really, really nice play. And I think that's something for us to not, monitor necessarily, but I do think it's worth remembering. Georgia's got a lot of guys that can play, and I know they have a few of these kind of younger interior linemen that they feel very good about, and that's Micah Morris, who is, we've heard good things about for a long time, but I mean, this is just a really nice sequence from him. 2 plays in a row. He's creating big holes, moving his guy out of the gap. You see him pump his chest there. He knows he's moving folks. And then, I mean, boom, again, moving folks. He's dominating number 44. So if Georgia's continue, if they continue to have struggles at left guard, they definitely got other options there. And it was good to see him come in with that first team offense and make some good things happen. And honestly, I think to be fair to Xavier Truss, A, as I said before, he's played a lot of good football for Georgia, but B, he was out there wearing Devin Willick's number on Saturday night, and it's been a long off season for Georgia, and then they had that tragedy in January, and it's been a heavy thing for the entire program, but particularly for the offensive line. I mean, Cedric Van Pran, when we talked to him at media days, was telling us about how they still don't sit where Devin sat in the locker room, and they don't. There's his presence still looms very much large over the entire team and program, but particularly amongst the offensive line, and putting on his jersey and walking out there and realizing he's not there, and missing your friend. That's a real thing, and I think it's important to remember these kids they're human beings, and they have emotions, and and they're still learning how to deal with those emotions and experiencing things like this, maybe for the first time in some cases, or they're just growing people. And I guess what I'm saying is, like, Xavier Truss didn't look his best on Saturday night, and maybe there's a reason why. And so I'm kind of I'm not going to sound the alarm bell on him or anything like that yet. I just think let's give it time, and I think that's worth remembering for all these players. It's just this was the first game for them after a lot of things have happened, and they might not have all been in the perfect headspace going into it, and just see how things progress before making any big judgments. This play, honestly, I thought it was kind of funny. Truthfully, you see Aguero here, and he's going to just run into Malachi Starks basically at the snap. And because of that, this is going to turn into a short, or it's going to turn into a short gain. But Kirby Smart was talking about these young guys being nervous and not knowing what the hell they're doing and having these WTF moments, and that's one of them right there. Jonel Aguero is going to be a fabulous player. That dude had a phenomenal fall camp, but it was just, freshman mistake right there. Just moving too fast and maybe not thinking quite as much. This was first third down. Georgia gave up all game, and I believe you got Darius Smith in at the bottom there. Yeah. Or no, that's Mike Hill, actually. And he's going to. Oh, no. Who's next to him? Yeah, that's Darius. Okay. Darius Smith at the bottom as kind of more of the stand up. And then Mike Hill's got his hands in the dirt. But, yeah, I don't understand why, he gets really far inside there, and that's not going to work. None of these young edges, honestly, are really playing the run like they should be. And I think that's the thing that, all of them can rush the passer like a bat out of hell, but they got to set the edge. And they're not doing it consistently enough in this game. And then, CJ Allen played a really nice game. He's going to be a really good player, but misses this tackle here. And then this is the bomb from Vandegrift. And, I think not just the fact that Ra Thomas goes and makes this play, but he did a lot of really nice things in this game. He blocked really well, and you can tell that he's just kind of picking up on the things that Georgia wants their receivers to do, and he's doing them with maximum effort, and he's doing them well. And physically, when he lines up, like, he's just kind of longer and bigger, and he looks like an elite receiver in terms of physique, and you can sort of see the traits coming off of him. So it's going to be fun to watch him this year, because I think he's got some major breakout potential in 2023. And then, a little bit late from Vandegrift here on the throw. Good job by Delp scooping it up, but good decision by Brock. He sees it. He throws it. No one's worse the wear. It's a little behind him, and it's a good play, and Georgia scores a touchdown. I thought, he was impressive in his time in this game. Here is going to be another edge mistake. You got number 29 in here, and Georgia's got all these young freshman players, and they're going to be good. And they've got the three edges of Damon Wilson, and they got Wilson and Pimba and Gabe Harris, and this is Damon Wilson here on this play. But again, if one of these, I'm sorry, that's Gabe Harris, is 29. I apologize to Damon Wilson, but if one of these edges gets in and starts playing the run right, then they're gonna all of a sudden find themselves with a lot of playing time, because, like I said earlier, nobody's really doing it. And then, yeah, here we've got this some sort of coverage someone busts a coverage here, and I'm not sure who it is, but 17 comes in motion there, and I don't know if it's Jackson who's supposed to pick him up. I think it probably, yeah, it is Dan, but he just plays this way too deep, and he also crosses over this guy and trips and falls. So maybe, all right, well, to be fair to him, if he doesn't trip and fall, then maybe he makes that play, but yeah, disregard that. Sorry. Apologies to Dirty Dan. This is a pro Dirty Dan podcast and YouTube channel. And then the last play I've got is just this throw from Gunnar Stockton. I thought he looked nice in this game. Good job keeping his eyes downfield. He's got to run the lane here, and he's actually got a blocker that's set up. Good job by 78 too. Young offensive lineman in the game. Not taking off and getting downfield and getting the illegal man downfield penalty in this. Sometimes you see just young linemen, they kind of lose their heads, but it's Chad Lindbergh, so he's been around the program for a little while. He's a junior, but good play by him, and then another just, good clean throw by Stockton, reading things the way he's supposed to. So thought you saw a lot of good things from all three quarterbacks, and a lot of promise, and I think Georgia is in for a lot of good at that position for some time to come. And then, you got Dylan Raiola and Ryan Puglisi coming in next offseason, but all three quarterbacks looked really, really good, and and that includes Carson Beck. I know people were critical of his performance, but going back over it, I thought he had a nice night, and like we were talking about earlier, made good decisions. So that's what I got for you guys for week 1. Definitely a mistake-laden performance, but that's what week 1s often are. Interested to see what Georgia does this week against Ball State. Once Georgia starts playing some teams that are actually, capable of beating them, we'll do some film preview type stuff. For this week, we're not going to take time to preview Ball State, but probably throw a few clips together for South Carolina, and then as we move on, we'll see what the competition's like. But thanks for being with us. Please check us out on dogcentral.com. If you want to support this work, if you want to support independent journalism, we cover a sport that's literally owned by the corporate media, and there's just a difference that comes with being able to say whatever you want to say. And hope you guys will come check us out, because in addition to just the editorial freedom that we have and that I have, we also have a lot of great content and a really awesome community of people that, our game threads are talking about, hey, I just saw number so-and-so, not set the edge on that play. We have, I think, one of the most intelligent football communities that you're going to find anywhere. And if you're into this type of stuff, and if you're somebody that has watched this entire video, you are, Dog Central is the place for you to come and speak and spend time and talk with like-minded individuals. So come and check us out. Thanks for your time.